fearless leader needs that right.
Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday night, or as I like to call it, Hump Day, here at Beyond the Airways, the Infinity Project. Since it's Wednesday, that means it's time for Warzone Wednesday, and I think we got something that's got Frodo rather upset, and I frankly don't blame him for. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddlog Stream. I'm currently joined by four of my crazy cohorts, although three of them have vanished from the screen. No, I'm kidding.
I'm cooking right now.
I know. I'm messing with you. All right. Anyway, first up, um, we got our master and creator Frodo, who's cooking, and then
Yep,
over
chicken
this,
pasta tonight.
ooh, chicken
Oh,
pasta.
shut your mouth.
Alfredo or
Hush your mouth.
marinara?
No, I'm making it. I'm making most of it, except for the sauce, homemade,
Ah,
Okay,
and
cool.
the pasta. So I have.
Oh, shut up. That sounds too good.
I think I'm gonna add a little bit of taco seasoning to it, just to add a little bit more.
Kick to it, right?
Yeah.
I take
No.
it you're doing it in marinara then?
Yep.
Yep. Then over to my right is our star child Janet. Hello, Janet. Don't worry, she's
And,
it.
and say hello to my little friend,
Yeah.
the
Mr.
angry one.
Yes, the angry bird. Then
I got that for Christmas a
on my
few
bottom
years ago.
on my bottom left is our resident B button, John. Hello, John.
Hey, Shirley?
And
Don't fire those. Don't shoot those damn fireballs at me, John.
Wrong button, Frodo.
Not in Super Mario Brothers.
That's true. He's correct on that.
No,
And
the SNES version you used.
I'm talking the original NES.
yeah,
Okay.
the original. And my bottom right, we have our resident oracle, Ashley. Hello, Ashley.
Hey Shirley, hey everyone.
And our resident joker, Mike. He'll be joining us later. He'll be back from group soon, so it'll be fine. Anyway, but anyway, there's something that's been circulating for the last couple of days, and I forgot. Sajo's in the chat room. Hey, Sajo.
Hey Sajo.
Now let me go see if I can
Hey,
look it up.
Sajo. How's it going?
I sent you a link in the Zoom chat, Shirley.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me go find it. Yeah.
Oh, man, my ankle's killing me today.
Ouch. That's not fun. All right.
Are
so
you
let
sure
me-
that's not something else that's killing you?
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the link up first. Here's me. Sorry.
No yawning.
Can't help it. Okay. All right. So anyway, first things first. I think we're gonna need to fire off a rant rocket, right?
Right.
Away.
All right. Everybody, take cover.
Fucking rockets are coming
And they're coming for Janet's booty.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
in.
Give me
Hey,
a second.
yours is bigger.
All right. Give me a second to get the link.
Somebody's
up, so.
butt his booty's bigger.
And
Sorry,
forsooth, I'm
that
a
didn't
lost
come out
vertical.
right.
All right. Got it.
It's all good. We're just having fun with each other.
Okay. And let me put this link in both
Sorry
Twitch
about
chat and Discord chat as well. So. Okay. Oop. All right.
All right.
one-
With us starting, I'm gonna say this. The article states GTA 5. However, if you read into what the article actually says, it can affect more than just GTA 5. Okay? And I'm going to call out a Democratic Senate representative because he deserves it. Grand Theft Auto, also known as GTA 5, may be banned if a new bill passes. This isn't the first time the series has attracted attention of lawmakers in the U.S. government.
Mhm.
Hot coffee, let's just remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the lady sued McDonald's because she spilled hot
No,
coffee.
no, no, no. Hot coffee in regards to Grand Theft Auto
Oh.
was a hidden sex mini game that you could access only in very specific ways, and you had to hack the game to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The latest person talking about the game is Representative Marcus Evans Jr. out of Chicago, who is seeking to amend a law that dates back to 2012 and prevent certain video games from being purchased by minors. Okay, before we start, I'm going to say I'm all for preventing minors from purchasing games like Grand Theft Auto or
Mm-hmm.
GTA San or not GTA or Call of Duty. Okay, minors don't need to be with those games.
Okay, they what? Okay, they passed the bill
But
preventing minors from purchasing those games. What is going to stop a minor from getting a person 18 years or older of buying the game for them?
exactly. And here is what I'm going to say. Okay, first off, that bill is stupid. Okay, it's not going to survive anything because it violates so many tenets of our laws and
It's kind
and our constitution.
it's kind of like Trump was saying, "We'll build the wall. We'll build the wall." Well, if they built the wall between the United States and Mexico, there would be a way to go over, under, or around.
Yeah.
There's always ways to get around stupidity, and that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was kind of comparing this law to.
Here's the thing that I have a problem with. It claims, the article and the person in question claims that violent video games cause kids to exhibit violent behavior. Well, who said that?
John,
me.
that was
Okay.
you?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. Um, I play violent video games. Arguably, I may be an adult, but I could still be considered with the mind of a child because of certain disabilities I have. Okay? I play violent video games not because I want to hurt people, but because I want to avoid hurting people.
Stress relief.
Exactly. It basically, the way he wants to rephrase the bill is to make it so that if a game uh, shows human on human violence in any way and glorifies that human on human violence, that it should be banned. Problem number one. Uh, define human first off.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay. Problem two. If we define human, and I'm just gonna argue this, if we define human in video game sense as anything you see on the screen with even a vaguely human look, and this can even include, even though this can be argued, it could even include, if they really want to go for it, the Goombas in Super Mario Brothers.
That's what I
That's
was
a good point.
thinking.
How about
2 feet.
Koopa? How about Koopa?
King Koopa, yep. You got 2 feet, you
Here's
got two
Bowser.
stubby arms, head.
Yeah.
Eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
That's resembling a human. So by this guy's logic, Super Mario Brothers, what anyone with at least 5 brain cells to rub together would consider the most passe game in history there has never been a version of Super Mario except for Super Mario Odyssey that has got anything greater than an E10 rating in ESRB. Super Mario Odyssey got a teen. Okay. And the big reason for that was the whole song that Pauline does in Super Donk Town because she's for curvaceous and everything.
Hmm.
So they could see some sexual innuendos. Okay. Big
You know what?
fucking whoop.
Why are senators trying
This
to get
isn't
a law
even a
passed?
senator.
May I finish? May I finish? Why are they trying to pass a law taking care, looking at video games, violent video games from kids, keeping the video games from kids? Isn't it supposed to be the parents' responsibility to monitor
Exactly.
what their kids play?
Yeah.
Janet,
Mm-hmm.
it's similar to why back in the 50s and 60s the government tried to regulate comic books. They didn't want kids being fed what they considered subversive messages.
Exactly. I'm gonna do one thing here. Surely you might want to hit the button for fair use because we're gonna probably do a little description from a show called Adam Ruins
Oh
Everything.
yeah, of course.
Reach
All
for the
right.
link so I can see.
All right. Well, let Frodo get the link first. So let's do the fair use thing. Hang on for 10 seconds.
There's the link in the chat.
Okay, now let me go get it in the chat. Bear with me. Growl.
Growl.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're fine. You didn't know I was planning this, so.
Okay.
It is an older video. It is 2 years old, but all of its points that it makes are perfectly valid even today.
Okay.
And when the video is over, I'm gonna have a few points to make from a personal perspective.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Give me just a second here. What am I doing? Right here. There we go. All right. Fair use is now in play. So, all right. So here we go.
Sup fam, it's Reaper666 streaming for you live from the Reef Den. Today we're going old school with a classic. Blood Cruncher 3, Blood Apocalypse Rising.
Henry, it's time for lunch.
Dad? Get out!
Wait, what is this? Are you playing violent video games again? You're gonna wind up on the 6 o'clock news.
Don't worry, Dad. The idea that video games cause violent crime is a total myth.
That is disgusting. They're trying to brainwash you into thinking that video games are safe.
Nope. You're the one who's been brainwashed. For as long as video games have existed, they've sent American parents into a frenzy of fear. In 1976, the
Oh, I
National
heard
Safety
you
Council
already say, "Oh,
panicked over
boy."
the arcade game Death Race, calling these tame little pixels 666.
Could you put the link to the video in the
And in
Zoom
the
chat
90s,
so I could watch it later?
politicians had a
It's already in there.
full-scale
It's in there.
freak out about a little game called Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Democratic Senator Joe Lieberman claimed it taught kids to, quote, enjoy inflicting the most gruesome forms of cruelty.
Real quote unlocked.
But despite these repeated parades of pearl-clutching panic, there's still no actual evidence linking video games to violent crime.
Moral outrage unnecessary.
I don't know. I'm still not convinced.
Well, let's look at the facts. As video game sales in America have spiked, violent crime has actually gone down. And other countries where games are popular have even lower rates of violent crime.
そうだ日本ではアメリカ人よりもっとゲーム遊ぶけど拳銃の殺人は96倍少ないよこれでどうだ怪獣
And despite the lazy media narrative connecting mass shootings to video games, multiple studies, including an analysis by the Secret Service, have found that school shooters actually consume significantly lower amounts of violent media in video games than their peers.
So you're saying video games don't have any effect on our kids at all? Not even that game Fork Knife, where you kill people with pickaxes?
It's called Fortnite, Dad. Pickaxe is a harvesting tool.
Well, some studies do show that violent video games can cause a temporary increase in aggressive thoughts and behavior.
But those studies are pretty flimsy.
Because they didn't measure anything the average person would actually consider aggression. One study just measured whether or not
People who played video games were more likely to feed their opponents hot sauce.
Hey!
And even if these studies had tested real-world acts of aggression, the change in behavior they measured was tiny, just 2% on average. Other studies have shown a similar effect in racing games and even real-life sports.
Dad does rage out whenever I beat him at ping pong.
That's because you play dirty, Henry. Oh, I see it now.
Guys, meet video game researcher and level 30 demon slayer, Dr. Patrick Markey.
Sup, Reaper666? Hope you don't mind, I already defeated that final boss. Blaming video games for real-world violence really took off after the Columbine shooting, and it was an understandable mistake because we all desperately wanted some reason why someone would commit such a horrific act of violence. But today we know video games actually aren't what's to blame.
And yet, politicians across the political spectrum still scapegoat video games. As recently as the 2018 Parkland tragedy, the President of the United States was saying things like,
I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
And reporters parrot this lazy narrative right back. After the Newtown school shooting, it was widely reported that the gunman played video games. But what they left out was that his favorite game, the one he'd play up to 10 hours a day, was Dance Dance Revolution.
The fact is, it's just easier to blame video games than to tackle societal problems that actually impact rates of violence. Things like educational and employment disparities, stigma against seeking mental health treatment, and especially in the case of shootings, access to guns.
Instead, we're wasting time and tax dollars on even more research to try to prove a link between violence and video games that just doesn't exist.
That's right. I'm a video game researcher, and even I think this is a waste of time. And that's why I'm taking a break to beat the next level. Oh man, it's underwater. See you guys.
The truth is, scapegoating and banning violent video games doesn't protect kids. It just distracts us from figuring out what we really need to do to keep people safe.
You're right. Henry, you can play that gut game with supervision.
Okay, Dad. You just gotta narrate everything for the stream.
Let's see what we got. Did you just shove that gun up his... Oh, God.
Is it done, Shirley?
Yeah, it's just now finished.
Well, I'm
Awesome.
still watching it. I'm still watching it.
Okay.
Guys,
I'm
Well,
at
then
353.
mute your mic for a minute, because I'm gonna go on.
before you do, I gotta ask something real quick because I noticed something.
Okay.
Is it just me, or did the father with the sandwich in that video look suspiciously like the actor who played Ernie in the George Lopez show?
It
It
was
could
the
be-
same. It
Oh,
was the
okay.
same actor.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I
They do
called
that.
it.
They do it occasionally on the show.
Mhm.
Anyway, getting back to the points that were made in that video. The fact that people keep saying that violent video games increase the prevalence of violence is an outright lie.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from firsthand experience that's a lie.
Mhm.
Let me explain. I've been playing violent games like Duke Nukem 3D, Mech Assault, Mech Warriors, Mortal Kombat, any number of violent games, Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, I remember
Since-
playing. I remember playing the Mortal Kombat video game in the basement at the AUM lounge when I was in college, and I didn't
What-
turn violent.
Well, here's the thing. People claim that it's the kids' mind who's going to become warped by video games that are of a violent nature. Okay? Here's a factoid from firsthand experience. So this isn't something that science says. This is something that Frodo says from his own personal experience. Take it as you will. For me, playing violent video games allows me to let out whatever violent thoughts and ideals I have in a way that is safe, controlled, and does not hurt a single human being.
Right.
Except for maybe digital pixels, and well, digital pixels have no soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Secondly, if they were right about the idea that violent video games at youth would make a violent adult, wouldn't I be in prison right now and not hosting a radio show on Twitch?
Probably me
Yes.
too. Probably me too, because I like I said, I played Mortal Kombat in college, so.
I have
Well,
a friend. I have a friend that like plays Mortal Kombat a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he ain't violent.
you see, here's the thing: the human mind is a very interesting thing. You can, with certain amounts of training, teach your mind to let loose urges like the violence that people sometimes feel
Mm-hmm.
by substituting real flesh and blood, aka human skulls and other anatomies, with digital anatomy. And that's the thing, okay, that a lot of parents are scared of violent video games. Oh, is it gonna make my child violent? I don't
Yeah.
want my child to become a killer. I don't. And it's the famous statement that every single time comes up when something even questionably moral is thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Won't someone think of the fucking children?
That's it.
Here's
Oh, before
You
hey,
got to say
hang
that
on
more
before
like.
hang on before you guys go on. JJ's in the chat room too. Hey JJ.
Oh, you want to know
Hey,
something?
JJ.
What?
They're trying to blame everything on the video violence in video games. But
Mm-hmm.
what about the society we live in?
Mm-hmm.
That's
another
true.
problem.
What
But
about the
I'm
freaking
gonna
society we live in?
but let's break it down for a minute. As the data was shown in that video, since the rise of violent video games, violent crime has actually went down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert on how the human brain works.
Right.
Far from it. I'm just saying that in my colloquial evidence, I can never say that word.
Colloquial?
Colloquial.
Yeah, colloquial evidence that is done by my personal observations of how my brain works and doesn't have any basis on what Sarah thinks, what Shirley thinks,
Mm-hmm.
what Janet thinks. It's just me. I have found that when I play a violent video game, when I'm stressed out, I sleep better at night and have less nightmares from my stress than when I play, say, I don't know, Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's, like I said, that's my personal experience. And yeah, it sounds counterintuitive. Violent video games make you more stressed, but here's the thing: when you're playing a violent video game, let's just throw a game out there, Duke Nukem 3D.
Okay.
Okay, when you're playing Duke Nukem 3D, okay, your adrenal glands start kicking off adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Your body responds to that adrenaline by amping itself up. Higher heart rate, higher breathing rate,
Mm-hmm.
more perspiration,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like
All the
play. It's like playing like like what? Like the Ring Fit and the using the Oculus with the what's that one called? Beat something? Beat Swords
Yeah,
or
Beat
something?
Saber.
Beat
Beat Saber.
Saber. Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a lot of stress, but you're actually taking it out in the form of a workout.
Well, and you may not be working out like that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good example, Shirley. You may not be working out in that way, but the thing you are doing is raising your adrenaline
Mm-hmm.
up, causing it to stay high for an extended period of time, which, when it comes to nighttime when you go to bed, causes your brain to become more exhausted quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to bed and lay down, you end up falling asleep quicker in a more peaceful sleep with less stress affecting your mind because
Uh-huh.
you let out all your stress into this safe environment.
Right.
I mean, let me be honest.
In other words, it could be compared to venting all the smoke out of a building.
Exactly. It can be compared to venting all the smoke out of a building or pressure release.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
something I'm sure John has experience with working at Collins Aerospace,
Oh,
pressure release valves and stuff.
I actually had more experience working at Chick-fil-A when I was in college, but yeah, I'm making this up. Most of what I do is on a computer.
I
Mm-hmm.
hear ya. But my point being is, for me, and I'm sure a good chunk of people in this world, in this country, violent video games are more of a pressure valve.
Mm-hmm.
They're a
They
release.
they let loose what you have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, let me put it this way. A couple years ago, now I've mentioned my uncle on a couple of occasions on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said one phrase about him that has always retained truth. He is a piece of shit, and I did not like him, and I still do not like him, even though he is dead, and I'm glad he's fucking
Whoa.
dead.
Damn.
Okay, okay, that's me saying the truth about how I feel about it. But a few years ago, I was at Walmart, and I came upon him at Walmart. My internal dialogue was telling me it's time to play Domino Rally with the shells at Walmart, using Richard as a ball.
Oh boy.
Oh, damn, Frodo. Must have been a really nasty piece of work.
Oh, he
Hi,
was.
Mike.
Hey,
He
Mike.
was.
Yeah, he's coming.
Like,
Hi, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Yes, he was
Whoa,
a
hold on a second.
yes, he was a piece of shit, but let's just get into that here in a moment.
Okay.
Um but the thing was, I've had that pressure valve put in by playing those violent video games, so I'm not likely to react in the way I would if I hadn't had that pressure valve. If that
Go ahead and finish.
Okay, Sarah could tell you. She could tell I wanted to do something to him. I didn't do it.
Mm.
And it wasn't because I was feeling sorry for him. I could care less about that man. You've all heard me how I mentioned that he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Yippee yay hoo! Goodbye, good fucking riddance, you piece of shit.
I'm glad you're dead.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're dead.
Well,
and you know, that's something I don't say often, but for him it's true. But the fact that I held my emotions from allowing me to go on a murderous rampage against him, I attribute to the fact that I play those games and they let me let loose my stress in a safe environment that doesn't hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So, if a parent feels that the kid needs stress relief, and the parent is there to monitor the child playing a game like that, fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then teach the kid afterwards what happens here stays here. Doesn't leave the confines of this little computer or whatever device you're using.
Mm-hmm.
You put your energy into that to relieve the stress.
Well,
Um,
if it were up to me, though, me personally, I love to have like that big old sandbag where I can really.
yeah.
Okay, I've got a question.
Go
Can you
for it.
have different kinds of pressure relief?
Oh yeah,
I don't like
absolutely.
play. I don't like playing the violent video games, but I find that I get my stress relief from coloring.
You
Nothing
know,
wrong with that.
everyone.
You ever heard of Mario Paint, Janet?
Yes, I have, but I don't have the system to use it on.
Well, actually, you do. You have a computer and you can use it on that. But let's just not get into that right now and say that yes, and everyone has their own way of relieving stress. Yes.
Hang on just a second. Mike, you better look at your
Yeah.
name.
Gosh.
It says Ashley Busey.
Yeah.
You better change it.
No, actually, we should let him stay Ashley.
There we go. Never mind.
He's changed it good. Thank you.
I was. Hold on. I was just making sure that this was working for Ash because she was having trouble earlier.
Yeah, she
And-
was.
and-
She was having trouble earlier.
And that's why she's on my laptop, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she asked me for my pin to get into my laptop, which is fine.
Okay.
So-
You
that's
just
fine.
gave us all a good laugh there, Mike.
Yep. I mean,
But yeah,
everybody. And here's the fun part: everybody deals with stress in their own ways. Me, I have this great app called Balance. Okay, it's from the same company that makes Elevate. Now it's like, let's see, I'm getting it free for this year because I already have Elevate. And what it does is there are so many different meditation methods. They've got one specifically for grief. They have a 10-day program for fear, but it's like it's not going to cure it, but it'll help you understand it and be able to better deal with it.
you see, and that's the thing I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
For me, my stress relief involving violent video games is not unique to me because there are many people that do that,
Right.
and B is not one size fits all.
Exactly.
Everyone deals with stress in their own ways.
Mhm.
And like I was saying earlier, in my opinion, when it comes down to kids, if they're getting, like, say, heavily bullied at school or something, I can understand as if I were a parent
They'd be concerned.
letting my kid play the I'd understand letting my child in that kind of situation play a violent video game under the understanding that what happens in the game does not exit the game.
In other words, what happens on Steam stays on Steam, as an example.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the point being, the industry itself regulates itself.
Right.
That's what the ESRB is.
Yeah, the ratings board.
Electronic.
Electronic System Rating Board, right?
Yep.
Electronic software, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
That's close.
Close enough.
But yeah, that's what the ESRB is for.
Mhm.
Self-regulation. Back in the early 90s, Joseph Lieberman had a conniption fit over Night Trap, Mortal Kombat, and a few other games.
Yeah.
And it
He
was.
had a conniption about.
Go ahead.
What do you bet he had a conniption about Mario Kart because he couldn't win the gold on 100cc Star Cup?
That's one way to think about it.
I bet. The thing is, and this is my view, as far as I'm concerned, if the person is mature enough to understand that simple concept, what happens in the digital landscape stays in the digital landscape, there should not be worry. The government, in my opinion, and yes, this guy is a Democrat, and I am going to rip him apart for it, but the idea of censoring video games is essentially the same as censoring free speech.
Exactly.
Agreed.
And I have a severe problem with that.
I
in
would
large
too.
part in large part because I take advantage of free speech every single day.
Just like you're doing right now, Frodo. Oh.
So, my opinion, and I don't know how many others here share it, but I'm based on what I'm hearing, I think quite a few of you guys share it. If you're mature enough to handle the game, you're mature enough to not have to worry about government trying to come in and regulate what you can play.
Right.
You know what? It's our right, our game. Like you said, as long as the kid is mature enough to handle the content. I wouldn't let, even though a 6-year-old can pick up on it real quick, I wouldn't let a 6-year-old play like World of Warcraft or Duke Nukem or games like that. They're
Well,
too
World
violent.
of Warcraft is pretty tame when compared.
That's true.
Okay, but I'm just throwing games out there to make a point.
I know.
But because I don't think a 5 or 6-year-old is mature enough to distinguish what is life and what
What's
is real
and what
and what is
isn't.
fantasy.
It's like, and this may sound a bit unrelated, but long time ago there was like a 5-year-old in South Carolina. He got suspended just for kissing a girl. And like the school called it sexual harassment. It's like a 5-year-old can't even pronounce sexual harassment.
You
No,
remember
they
the
can't.
story about the kid who made the mistake of nibbling a Pop Tart into the shape of a pistol?
Yes, I
Yep.
do remember that.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna stop talking about this, but if anyone else wants to continue it, that's fine. And if you have points that you bring up that I want to comment on, of course. But here's the thing. Here's the Cliff's note of what I'm trying to say. If you have a fucking problem with fucking violent fucking video games, there's this lovely little invention called the freedom of fucking choice.
Yep.
If you don't like it, don't play it.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
it's like people get all upset like TV shows like, "Oh, I don't like this. Why is this even on the air?" It's like, "Look, if you don't like it, don't watch it." Because
Hey,
after all,
that's what the channel changer's for.
Right, it's like, people complain about The Bachelorette being interrupted by severe weather or something. Me, I absolutely hate The Bachelorette.
But there are people out there that like it.
Yeah, and they get mad at the meteorologist when they have to interrupt for severe weather. After all, it is recorded by the FCC. People tend to forget that.
I know, and just like the tests that they run once a month on TV. This is the test of the emergency broadcast system. People bitch about that. My folks are among them because.
But yeah, there was a long time ago, back in 2007, when the Weather Channel turned 25. This was so funny. They had like the top 100 weather moments back then, and one of them was talking about the emergency broadcast system. And one of the guys from Mad TV at the time, he said they would always interrupt like, "Oh, there's just one more."
It is required by the FCC.
Right.
All
to
broadcast
make sure
stations and all cable companies must be able to send in timely manner emergency broadcast to every single subscriber or
Mm-hmm.
every single user that uses their service in
Mm-hmm.
the event of inclement weather or any other emergency
We've had
situation such as
Amber Alerts come
Yeah.
across on our TV.
Mhm.
Amber Alerts
Yeah. Because
or
now.
Silver Alerts.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is if you live close to a nuclear reactor, they
Yeah.
have to have that available
Mm-hmm.
um,
Exactly.
just in case.
Right. But see,
I mean,
and I'm gonna keep saying this till the day I die. I don't damn care if it's the Alabama Auburn game. If they have to interrupt the game for severe weather, I will either check out the game online or get the highlights later. It is not the end of the world for me if I can't see the game. People's lives are more important than the damn game.
Sometimes, like during Uri, I have certain shows on the Weather Channel that I like, and I go over there to see if they're on. If they're not on, I go, okay, they'll be back on later, and I've probably seen it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go on and find something else to watch.
Yeah, because
and here's another
the
factoid.
it's just ugh.
Here's another
What's
factoid.
that?
Sorry, Shirley, but
No.
you made me think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The idea when the derecho came through, how many TV stations in our area were completely blacked out for the coverage because this storm was
I have
bad.
no idea, Frodo, because shortly after the Duray show, I went without electrical power for just over a week.
Probably a lot of the TV stations there were probably knocked out. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching on the Weather Channel. One of the things, these newscasters, right in the middle of doing the severe weather report,
Mm-hmm.
and just as the tornado beared down on their studio, they says, the lights started flickering,
Mm-hmm. It's like,
and
we
we
better
gotta go.
take
We'll be
cover.
back as soon. We're gonna take cover. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Exactly. Which is a smart move on their part because they knew it was headed right for them. It's like, take cover.
Yeah.
And saying again, this is exactly the same question with regards to video games.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fucking like it,
Don't play it.
Don't buy it.
Don't fucking consume it.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I go mostly for Among Us, Pac-Man, Tetris, games like that, because I'm not particularly crazy about violent video games.
Me neither. I have a lot of I'm about to say shooting apps. No, I don't. I have word game apps. Jeez.
Oh, I like a good word game app, but
I've got several word game apps. I think I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 word game apps.
My personal preference is for driving a CG Ford Mustang around major cities in ways that would normally get me arrested.
Yeah. I swear, I'll tell you this. One game I missed, Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World. I love those two, especially on Cruisin' World when you got to Mars. That was fun.
Mars?
Yeah, they had races
USA
on
on the
Mars.
N64 was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You might. I think if PS3 or 4 has backward compatibility, you might like a game called Ford Mustang.
Okay. And I still have a PS2, and I have like Burnout, Burnout 2, Burnout 3. One of the reasons I love Burnout 3, you could literally like crash your car, and you want to make as much damage and explosions as you can to cause maximum damage for maximum money.
You see, here's the thing that you guys are proving my point precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person has their own means to relax from stress, whether it be racing insanely in a big city or blowing up cars or coloring.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know, for me, the reason I play violent video games is because I have a violent edge to my brain, and I don't want to. I will never abuse my wife, but I don't want that violent edge in my mind to rear its ugly head in other ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some days where, like, you know what? It's nice outside. I want to go out and just enjoy this, enjoy the sunshine, not worry about playing games and such. Because, like I've described this before, I've got Shakespeare's Garden in the middle of the city, but it is so serene. I love it in that spot
Did you
because
put was the social eating thing up on our tag list today?
social eating.
Social eating
No.
tag.
from
It's a
yesterday.
tag that I put up once in a while for those who want to like snack or something. I
Oh,
don't think it's up.
I don't think so either.
I don't
Sorry.
think the side that wasn't
It's
there
like,
to add that
huh?
in.
It's like, huh? Sorry. But everybody. But the thing is, I deal with stress in different ways. Period. Like one day, it's like I need a punching bag. I need a sandbag or something like that. In other cases, like I'll just go to play a few games. I don't have any shooting games. Maybe I'll do Among Us. Of course, you guys know I get a little stressed when I get killed.
Oh God, a little,
You never
a
get
little
killed when you
stress.
Mhm.
get
God,
killed.
God damn you! If I get to be sus, you're mine. Whoever killed me.
Yeah.
Shirley,
Yes.
can I give you a recommendation?
Sure.
Driving. Just drive your car with your music cranked.
Mm-hmm.
I think the word you're looking for is joyriding.
Well, maybe not necessarily joyriding, but just drive
Well,
around
that's basic.
town. Just drive
Yeah,
around town with the music on.
joyriding. Not driving to go anywhere. You're just driving for fun. That's joyriding.
No.
Good point.
I was gonna say
For
this.
me, it's walking if I'm not playing video games. So
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not
just not together.
sus in Among Us, I'm actually grateful when somebody kills me because it's a lot easier
They
to
get
get to
through
my
the
cash when
walls
you're
and
in
so
gutters.
forth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, it's always fun. Hey, Shirley,
Mm-hmm.
want to play tonight for a little bit?
Nah, I gotta get some sleep because my next task is at 8 a.m. I don't really want to.
Okay. What
Okay.
are they going to task you with tomorrow?
I have no idea. I have to wait until 8 o'clock to find out. But I mean,
Spontaneous surprise, huh?
I
yeah,
hope that's a
because
good thing.
right now, what they're doing is they want to establish that they can trust me with the tasks at hand. And right now, what they've been telling me is I've been doing very, very well so far.
Excellent.
I
Mm-hmm.
think John had something to mention today.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I did. This is a factoid we all need to remember. You know how you guys are fond of throwing around the word kofifi?
Yeah.
I looked up what that was all about. There's a theory that kofifi or kofife is actually ancient Hebrew for "in the end we will win."
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, it's just a theory. There
Okay. But then
were
again,
a
you have
lot
to
of things.
remember that tweet was put out about 3 o'clock in the morning too.
Yeah.
So,
Of course,
unfortunately,
if you had autocorrect, it's unlikely that
that's probably the one thing I do miss about Trump. The funniest words he ever came up with: bigly, kofifi, and hamburger.
you ought to read some Shakespeare. He was notorious for inventing his own words,
I believe it.
and really notorious for actually using my kind of humor in his plays. Not it was bawdy, but it was subtle. Know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something that'll make you laugh. I actually have this Star Wars in Shakespeare.
Oh, can you read
Woo!
a line or two from it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, Shirley,
Are we
Yes.
through with our regular? Hey, are we through with the discussion we at hand?
I think we
I
should
am.
be. Is everyone had their say in what we were talking about?
Yeah, I have.
I believe so.
I just got home, so it's all good.
All
No
right.
worries.
What about you, Ash?
You're muted, Nash.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna start with. Let's see.
Start with Romeo and Juliet.
No, Janet. They don't have it. They have like.
Star Wars.
It's like Star Wars done in Shakespearean style. There is no Romeo and Juliet.
Basically,
Okay.
Janet, they took the Star Wars screenplay and translated it into Middle English.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
go for it.
All right. So I'll just start with this first scene here. Enter C3PO and R2D2. C3PO. Now is the summer of our happiness, made winter by this sudden fierce attack. Our ship is under siege, I know not how. Oh, hast thou heard? The main reactor fails. We shall most surely be destroyed by this. I'll warrant madness lies herein. R2D2. Beep beep, beep beep, meep squeak, beep beep beep, wee. C3PO. We're doomed. The princess shall have no escape this time. I fear this battle doth portend the end of the rebellion. Oh, what misery! And let's see. In the chorus, now watch amazed as swiftly through the door the army of the Empire flieth in, and as the troopers through the passage pour, they murder several dozen rebel men.
Oh God!
Yeah, C3PO goes, "Pray, R2D2, where art thou?" Now there's your Romeo and Juliet right there.
Yep.
But yeah,
oh shit! Where did you find that? Amazon?
I got it at Books A Million, believe it or not.
Books A Million.
But I saw this as like, this is just. I was like, I gotta get this one. This is too funny. It's
Hey,
like,
Shirley.
uh-huh.
Sorry.
Oh
you finished your
shit!
thought.
Yeah. Oh, they
Sorry
even have
about
they even,
that.
they even have some illustrations in there too.
Illustrations.
Yep.
I wonder what Anthony Daniels would think of that.
He probably would like it. I bet he probably would like it. I mean, it's really it's just so fun that when they've got it in such a way it makes you laugh.
What do you think I was hiding behind my hand trying not to do?
Shirley, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
You remember that shitty Leo DiCaprio movie they made out of Romeo and Juliet?
Yes, I do, and I was never really fond of it.
What was the name
I
of
had
it?
to
Romeo
I
and
had to
Juliet.
watch that in freshman level English
Oh God.
because we read the play Romeo and Juliet, and my teacher had the bright idea of showing us that movie because the fact of the matter is, and this is what made it shitty, they did not change one word of the dialogue.
What?
You actually had a sheriff speaking into a bullhorn. For here on out, Romeo is banished. And it's like, why did you think that would work? Why did you think it would make sense to have Tybalt, in this case played by John Leguizamo, talking about violence while wielding a modern semi-automatic pistol?
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Frodo.
Yeah.
I know you're not joking. That's the fucked up thing. That's why I'm laughing. Because it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's basically okay. I think what happened was
someone was
people
smoking
like
some really strong doobie.
Well, that's one possibility. Another is that they looked at things like West Side Story and thought, why should kids only see a relatable Shakespeare without understanding the dialogue? And I guess, I don't know. Maybe they read it by Leo DiCaprio and he thought, yeah, this ought to be good for some cheap laughs.
George Plimpton did the same thing with Wishbone. Wishbone had a little Jack Russell Terrier
Yes, I
tell
remember that show.
classic stories using modern settings.
No,
George...
actually, Janet, I remember Wishbone. I watched it when I was a kid.
Right.
I will say that Wishbone was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What actually happened was the stories would be set contemporarily, that is, during what was contemporary to their authors. But Wishbone himself would play the main character. He played everything from Sherlock Holmes to Hercules.
That's right. I remember that.
Except he didn't play Don Quixote.
You're right. He played his assistant.
Poncho. But, George Plimpton was complaining how they didn't stay true to Shakespeare. And I remember thinking, man, how many modern teenagers who watch Wishbone can relate to the these and thous and etc.
Yeah.
of Shakespeare.
Yeah, and you know what? Basically, what Hamilton has done is basically introduced a generation into musicals, but it's not so stiff. It's not so la 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 like that.
It's not opera.
Right. And when I watched it, it's like, now
You know
that's a
what?
way to
You
do
know
it.
what's funny, Shirley?
What?
Opera, as far even as early as the 19th century, actually wasn't like that. You know the song Dixie?
Yeah.
That was originally written for an American opera to be sung by blackface minstrels.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
I was gonna say, for me, getting into musicals, there was one musical I can say got me to listen to some.
Which one was that?
Repo, the genetic opera.
Interesting.
Oh, yep, I remember
I
that.
think I prefer Avenue Q myself.
Oh, me.
Avenue Q's funny.
Yeah, I'll
But
tell you.
Repo, I like it because of what happens to Paris Hilton's face at the end.
Well, me,
Oh boy.
I was in like this group in like 7th grade when I was living in Ohio, and we went to see like a dress rehearsal for Carmen, and there was like a little bit of a blooper in there because what happened was the director was saying, can you go close the door, and then the door somehow closes by itself. The actress who's playing Carmen, she looks at the audience and says, "Magic," and everybody's cracked up.
Um, Another good musical that was really cool, Sweeney Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's the one you guys all might remember, and that I remember because I actually had to perform in it. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Ah, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think you
I
would
went
been the
to.
best Joseph.
I wasn't him, but what happened, Frodo, was that when I was a first grader, I attended this private Christian school because my mom got me and my sibs in for free by teaching there. And my class had to put on a play about Joseph. And now help me remember, the musical was done by Rogers and Hammerstein, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
about right, yeah.
modeled ours entirely after the Rogers and Hammerstein thing. I am not making this up.
Nope.
They even had the Elvis number for the Pharaoh, and they actually dressed the kid up like Elvis.
No.
I wish I were kidding.
Oh, man. Give me liberty. Can you imagine Elvis coming out like, yeah, let's do this? No, I'm kidding. Oh,
No,
boy,
but
that's
anyway.
bad.
Give me liberty or give me a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Yeah. Or I'll tell you something worse I remember.
Make sure you fry it.
Yeah, I'll tell you something worse. Sailor Moon. There was an episode where it's supposed to be like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oh no, all the dwarfs dressed like different animals and such. It's like, what the hell did they do?
What were they smoking, right, Shirley?
Yeah, it's like sometimes these Japanese animes when they come up with these things, like, what the hell were they high on for this?
And where can
Well,
I get some for
and I
me?
can ask that question of a lot of movies.
Yeah, that's
Friday, next Friday, Friday after next.
true. Yep. But somehow they work. After all, where else could we get the damn from Ice Cube and
Oh,
Chris
speaking
Tucker?
of movies.
Another movie that was
hold-
crazy.
What?
Clerks 2.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I
Janet,
still
go.
like the idea of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jan.
Janet, you're up.
Janet, I think your mic's off.
Remember the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
There's a sequel coming and it's on Amazon Prime.
Right.
And of
Eddie
course,
Murphy was good in that.
Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are reprising their roles. So
Do they get James Earl Jones in on that one too, or do you know?
I don't know. I think they have his
Oh,
character. I think his character has died by this
Oh,
point.
nice.
the
I think.
wife reminded me of another crazy movie,
What's that?
Dogma.
Oh God.
Oh yes, I remember that
Oh
one.
God, that guy owes me $11.
Yeah, but let's see. There's some other news. Tiger Woods. Remember he had that accident yesterday? He
Yeah.
is resting well. He's recovering, but both of his legs are broken.
In more
So
than one place. They
yeah.
had to do several surgeries on him already, and they had to insert a rod, and I believe it was his ankle. They
Yeah.
had to put a rod in his ankle.
Yeah. So at least he may have had serious injuries, but he's not. It's not at least life threatening. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were working up to this. I saw on the Yahoo News feed that the sheriff looked at his toxicology and determined that he was not in any way intoxicated at the time of the accident. So there's some good news. So
Okay, that's
not
Yeah.
good.
facing some
They
kind of reckless
said
driving charges.
they said that the section of road that he wrecked on has had 13 accidents on that stretch of road in as many years. One a
Ah,
year.
that
Why
makes
do I have a
sense.
feeling it's haunted?
Maybe it is
Well, that'd be more something for our.
for our late friend Tim.
Well, you may not know as much as he did, but maybe
Uh,
someone who can come close needs to take up the mantle.
Hmm.
but
Yeah, but I figured best we
Here's one
retired it.
thing. I'm sure, but yeah, one thing I can say is that a lot of movies lately, and I mean, not lately as in within the last 3 years, but I'm talking within the last 10, 15 years,
Yeah.
are such that you can go, okay, what the fuck were you smoking in that writer's room? How
Mm-hmm.
much of it did you consume? And
Is there
did
any
you
left for
exhaust the
me?
entire supply of the United States to make this movie?
And don't forget, Frodo, did you save any for me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I think we've got this idea because you notice. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Disney Plus, they've now got the Muppet Show. They've now had to put like a warning at the beginning because of outdated cultural references or something, and a lot of people are a little miffed. It's like, well, I mean, you have to remember the time frame. It's the late '70s and early '80s. They could get away with stuff back then that you really cannot do today.
You
What
still
what stuff
there's
would they be
stuff
worried
from the
about? It's not.
90s
Mm-hmm.
that you can't get away with today.
Right.
Look at some of the original episodes of Power Rangers, for
Right.
example.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's a good one. You,
you can't do
Proto,
that
I
on
know you're a
television.
yeah. Proto,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a Potterhead. Who else is?
I'm
Okay,
pretty good on it.
Proto, Oracle,
John,
Shirley,
I got one thing to say to you.
Proto, go.
Crucio!
Too late. I already put the protection spell on me.
Avada
Too
Kedavra.
late. Too powerful.
What's
You
that?
can't.
Alahamora.
Alahamora.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here's a little Potter trivia for you. My mom has a copy of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets that I sincerely hope she will hold on to until unless she absolutely needs the money. In the original print of that, Gilderoy Lockhart defends his action of washing the witch who banished the Banded Banshee with the fact that she had a hair lip, a cleft palate. That was changed to make it a hairy chin. I found this out when I bought a paperback copy for myself and noticed a discrepancy.
Interesting. Did not know that. But yeah, but what this has done, it gave Frodo a great idea, which I like too. Next attention to one episode is going to be, the outdated cultural references.
You can't do that on television anymore.
Oh yeah, Mm-hmm.
There was a cartoon back in the day, a cartoon, Little Black Sambo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard of
Little
it.
short black African who
and
had the big lips and the
Mm-hmm.
bone in
and
his hair.
and a lot of what
That
I'm
wouldn't
going to
fly
be
today.
what we're going to talk about in that episode is going to be cultural references like uh the blackface in episodes
Mm-hmm.
of
And the Bugs Bunny
of
cartoons, for example.
and actually
Dumbo.
we could go even more modern
Mm-hmm.
that back in the early 90s before they changed it up.
Mhm.
Jinx
Pink literally
was
black.
Jinx was a caricature of what would be considered a, a black woman back then, which would have been big bosomed,
Mm-hmm.
big
Aunt
lips,
Jemima.
big
What Aunt Jemima
ass.
looked like
Mm-hmm.
No,
No, she
before
was
they
in
changed it.
she was in good shape.
No, no.
no, we're talking big boobs, big lips, big pink lips, black face.
Kind of like little Audrey's housemaid.
Yeah,
Yep. But now Jinx is purple.
Mm-hmm.
yep. But
Uh,
that's an example of how late that kind of stereotyping goes.
That's true.
who
I
was
think
Jinx? I forget.
it'd make a good episode because there's those cultural references that wouldn't work today, and like I've said, there is my all-time favorite episode of Mask. It's called Assault on Liberty. That episode would never be on the air today for several reasons. One, you've got the World Trade Center towers. Number two, Venom threatens to blow the Statue of Liberty. That's out. So,
Well,
I mean, that's still my favorite
um,
episode ever, but I already know that'll never air today.
I gotta wonder though, having watched The Muppet Show myself,
Hmm.
given the fact that, for example, it was Miss Piggy who did the majority of the hitting,
Hmm.
what references are they worried about kids getting the wrong idea from? Because I don't know.
I have to look up the article, but I mean, I've been hearing that circulating on Facebook. I mean, it's from legit sources. I just haven't had a chance to look yet. But
I
I'll bet
mean,
one of them
what are they
probably has to
worried
do with the
about?
band. I'll bet something has to do with that band.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric
What is
Mayhem.
wrong with the
Yeah.
band?
Well, the way some of them look, I mean, some parents would probably think, "Oh, those guys are probably high on something."
The hippie culture
Right.
from the
Uh,
60s.
Hippie, disco.
all I can think is, unless you're worried about the ideas your kids would get by seeing a bunch of Viking pigs sing in the Navy while ransacking an English village. I'm not making this up.
No, I
They
believe
do
it.
music videos like that. The one they did for In the Navy was a bunch of big Vikings
Hmm.
ransacking an English village.
Yeah, and also I think there's 5 episodes that cannot be aired due to music rights. So, so I
And
think because I think there's
like
there's one artist who got I think he's been in prison because of like it's his level 5 pornography. So,
Um,
Are you
what
talking about the
about
guy who
the
did Rock and Roll
idea?
Part 2?
no, let me look it up because I know I've heard about this. Let's see.
What about interspecies relationships? Miss Piggy's always going after Kermie, her Kermie.
Yeah.
actually that's an established relationship in the canon of the show.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't think it would be looked at negatively because it's still um uh heterosexual coupling.
Yeah. You know,
All right.
the voice actor, the Muppeteer who played Scooter originally was gay.
I believe it.
You know what? He's dead now, but you know what his name was?
What?
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 Richard Hunt.
Oh.
Richard Hunt?
Yeah.
Okay. All
You
right.
see, I don't have a personal problem with anything like that.
Okay, well let's see. 2 episodes. Let's see, two
I
episodes of
never
the Muppet
said
Show are
I
missing
did.
from the from the catalog. Episode 506 is an Alice in Wonderland themed entry hosted by Brooke Shields, who was the youngest guest star in the show's history, that in typical Muppets fashion goes off the rails. The reason it was cut, however, was that it features a confused Fozzie dressed as the Tin Woodsman singing The Wizard of Oz's We're Off to See the Wizard. The rights to that film are owned by Warner Brothers, who are currently working on a remake.
Leave the classics alone, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Well,
Wicked.
that's a rights issue. That's a question that
Yeah.
you'd have to get argued in arbitration.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Let's see. Music rights are at the heart of the majority of the Muppet Show's Disney Plus omissions. Songs have been cut from 12 episodes, including those performed by guest stars like Don Knotts' ill-fated collaboration with the Electric Mayhem, "Lullaby of Birdland," while others are sung by the Muppets themselves, such as Beauregard's rendition of "Dancing on the Ceiling." Broadway legend and Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist actress Bernadette Peters' guest appearance has the most songs cut from it, though. While neither song is performed by her, Kermit's nephew's rendition of "I'm Five" and They Call Him the Wind Maria have been cut from the episode. The cut that shows how convoluted rights can be, however, comes in episode 518. In this entry, Kermit's old friends from Sesame Street stopped by the show, and both casting a version of its theme song. In spite of Jim Henson's involvement in Sesame Street, the cameo had to be cut because, guess what? HBO holds the right to the series.
Oh, bullshit.
Well, sorry, that's the rule. Okay.
And here's the thing. Like I said a little bit ago, the rights issues are very confusing, especially when you're dealing with copyright. That's why we have the fair use thing, because that just gives us a layer of protection. Nothing more, nothing less. When we use something like the Adam Ruins Everything episodes, we're doing it in a transformative way, but we're also doing it in a way that, because we're using the episode to base arguments on. It is transformative, but it can still be seen by YouTube's algorithm. So that's why we put the fair use notice up.
Yeah, and then there's this one other episode. It's episode 519. Here's what happened. That episode's guest star was the show's sole British writer, Chris Langham, who became an infamous figure since his unlikely appearance. He was a substitute for the show's originally scheduled guest star, Richard Pryor, who dropped out at the last minute and played a messenger who delivered the news that yodeler Benny Brillstein refused to take part in the episode. Now, years after his appearance, he was arrested by Kent police in November 2005 in conjunction with Operation Or, a British investigation into child pornography. He was convicted 2 years later. And sentenced to 10 months in jail. Langham's sentence was reduced to 6 months on appeal, but Disney decided it didn't want anything more to do with him and has tried to remove the episode wherever possible.
That is an understandable one, because child porn in general, even in the legal system, is looked at with a very, very narrow pair of eyes, and for good reason. Pornography is exploitative, and in order for that exploitative nature to be okay, the person in question has to be over the age of majority wherever they are. And honestly, I would push that requirement to age 21, because there are some 18-year-old girls that, I'll be honest, I don't think they're all there up in the head, so they may not be appropriate for doing that kind of activity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, there are 21-year-old girls and boys who aren't all there in the head.
Oh, I know, but it's just, I'm just trying to be reasonable,
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I mean, this is my opinion. Like I said, I don't think it'll hold any weight, but it's just a thought.
But in all seriousness, I think when we get to Attention to One next time, we definitely got to do the outdated culture references, because I think one of my old friends that I've known for a long time, he saw there was a movie. I cannot remember the name of the movie off the top of my head, but it's like there was like a thing at the beginning where it said there are outdated cultural references in this movie. So it's like, okay. And of course, the one big Disney movie that will never, ever, ever see the light of day
I
on
know
Disney
what it
Plus.
is. Song
Song
of
of
the
the South.
South.
Exactly.
Because of the zippity doo dah, zippity yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. The guy singing it,
Hmm.
the song was your stereotypical at the time black guy.
Exactly. Which is sad. It's sad, but I mean, in this
You
day and
know,
age of the
there is something. There are actually two things Disney produced that I think definitely should never see the light of day.
what are they?
Well, Shirley, you might be familiar with them given your age compared to me.
Hmm.
You ever heard of Dumbo's Circus?
Yes.
You ever heard of the House at Pooh Corner?
Yes.
Guys, for those who don't know, that was Disney's attempt to make a kids show about an animated concept without animating it.
Mm.
They had the bright idea of putting actors in. You guys know the Muppet Sweetums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the bright idea of putting actors in costumes that had heads actuated either like Sweetums or
Hmm.
perhaps like the heads on the dinosaurs.
Hmm.
And these characters were characters either out of Dumbo or Winnie the Pooh.
Mm.
And they were not good. I'll tell you more about it after the air, but the House of Pooh Corner actually went down in infamous history when they tried to do a PSA.
Okay. Gotta keep that in mind.
There was another show that did that a PSA Tiny Toons.
One beer.
Yep.
Hmm.
That was
Tiny Toon
nowhere near as bad as the one the House at Pooh Corner did.
Really? It's worse
Really.
than that?
Ooh.
Yes, it is. If you
Okay.
do not believe me, after we're off the air, I will show you, and I will show you what I mean.
Okay. Not a bad idea. All right. I think this would be a good time to end the episode, don't you think?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Ladies and germs that listen all the time, thank you for your continued patronage to our show. Thank you for listening and having fun with us.
Hmm. And we hope you've learned something tonight, too. All right. So, anyway, our schedule, of course, tomorrow
Hopefully,
is.
something good.
Yeah, tomorrow is our Thumbs Up Thursday wild card. It's going to be our review, and we'll be talking about WandaVision. And
Woot!
yeah, and I'll tell you right now, Catherine Hahn, who plays Agnes backslash Agatha Harkness, she needs to get an Emmy.
Oh, was she that good in the episode?
She's been that good in the whole series so far.
Is she good? Is she a good or evil?
Turns out she's evil.
Shirley,
Spoiler
Yes.
alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
can I ask you something?
Shoot.
You just did.
Smart ass. Have you got Oh god, I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna get us in trouble. I'll wait until after the show.
Okay. All right.
Okay, time to end the show, Shirley.
Okay.
Okay, guys, a second.
Um,
Go ahead,
after WandaVision, I'm going to talk about how PlayStation's State of Play that is
Oh.
also set to air at like 4 p.m. tomorrow
Oh.
afternoon.
Okay, sure. And I need to look at Superman and Lois because that show started last night. I forgot.
It looks like it might
Is
be
it a
pretty
reboot
good.
of Lois and Clark? Or...
No, it's what they did was Tyler Hoechlin is playing Superman. He made his debut in Supergirl season 2, and he's going to. And I see Maddie.
Maddie.
Hello, Maddie. But yeah, I do need to look at
They
that
can
because
do
I've got a lot
Arrested
of I got a lot of
Development.
catching up to do because I haven't been out watch the shows because I'm trying to find a job, having trouble with Sean at the store, and so
Finally
forth.
got a job.
Finally got the job. I mean, now I'll admit the way the way they're testing me out, it's a little bit painstaking, but they're trying to establish that they can trust me with the test, and so far they've been telling me I've been doing an excellent job. So.
Good deal.
Was there ever a doubt?
No. And of course, I got to report again at 8 a.m. So, but anyway, tomorrow, of course, tomorrow's review, and then Friday, of course, is our Friday Fun Day Friday Fun Day game du jour, which will be Nearly Naughty Mad Libs. As of course, next Friday will be Shell Shock Live. So
that ought to be fun.
Yeah,
we should have a backup. We should have a backup just in case.
Yeah,
which means I'll be able to blow you and Janet to smithereens.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can make the screen. See if I can put the screen a little bit better because when we did it the first time, I kind of blocked off one little area. It's like, we can't see everything. That was kind of tough, But I'll figure that out. But anyway, all right, let me do the.
Stop yawning.
Let me do the 10-second ending here.
Shut up, Room 101.
Stop yawning, Janet.
Shut up, Room 101.
What now?
I said, shut up, Room 101.
All right, well, let's get to the ending here. All right, so that is all for tonight. Everybody have a great night. Have a safe night. Sleep well. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay dry. Get comfortable now the temperatures are warming up. Yay. And we'll see you tomorrow for our Thumbs Up Thursday wild card, the review. So, good night, everybody.
And don't cause any trouble. We don't want to hear about any of our listeners being in jail for anything.
Yep, there you go. All right, so that's all. That's all, folks. Good night, everybody.
Everyone.